So we finally have the spoilers for chapter 7 of Two Blue Vortex, and let's just say that Boruto absolutely destroyed Mitsuki. It pains me to say this, but that's exactly what happened. And he did somewhat reveal that he is the real Boruto to Mitsuki at some point in the fight, but it doesn't seem like Mitsuki fully agrees with it. But he's almost there, he's somewhat there. But what's more important is that Shikamaru now knows about Omnipotence, but it seems to be temporary, but we're gonna get to that later on. And we also found out more about the Shinja as well. So we have a lot to discuss, but we're gonna start from the top as per usual. So the title of the chapter is The Whereabouts of the Sun, and the person on the cover is Mitsuki because he's the main focus of the chapter. Now the subtitle says, to avoid breaking and disappearing, to avoid being engulfed by darkness where the moon clings. Now this might be a mistranslation because again, these are the spoilers, so take it with a grain of salt. Now this part seems to be what was leaked before, so Mitsuki is saying, as long as the sun, which is you, shines upon me, I can also shine. In the darkness of the moon, I can find a reason to live and feel alive. It's the first time I felt like it's okay to be here, thinking that I can illuminate brightly Kawaki. So this reads kinda like a poem in a sense, but yes, a typical Mitsuki sun stuff with Boruto, but we're gonna leave that for the chapter review itself because I don't think you guys want to hear about that right now. So now we're skipping over to page 8 of the chapter. So Boruto says, what happened to Kawaki? I thought my pursuer was him. Mitsuki then says, does it even matter? Right now, such things. I'm the one facing you. Now it seems like Shikamaru is still connected to Boruto because he then says Kawaki is currently asleep due to Mitsuki's snake venom. Now this says not due to Mitsuki's snake venom, but of course this is a mistranslation, but you guys understand. Now it then explains that the reason why Mitsuki did it is to avoid being noticed by Boruto because Kawaki can sense Otsutsuki presence, and that's basically what this is. Now this part is important to me because Mitsuki then says, I think I understand your strength. Defeating that code alone is a level that goes beyond the norm. In my opinion, the current Kawaki is not a match for you. I can't let him be killed, even if it costs me my life. Boruto then says, stop it Mitsuki, if you can't match me, it means you're just like him. There's no meaning in this kind of battle. Mitsuki then says, even though I left Kawaki behind, there's another reason. I can go all out and not hold back against you. Now this part is really important because it seems that Mitsuki has a good judge or gauge of Kawaki's current strength, and he feels like current Kawaki is no match for current Boruto. Now this is absolutely insane. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense because I'm sure Mitsuki knows of Kawaki's power level using the Karma Seal, and the only thing he knows at this point is base Boruto. So the only way Mitsuki could make this judgment is by thinking that Kawaki is still below code. And if that's the case, then that means that these characters are still around like Jigen level and they're not Ishiki level. So what I'm gonna do is just wait until we get the full translation to see what he actually said, and then we can deduce what's going on here because this part is really important. Now the fight then began with Mitsuki using the snake clones and attacking Boruto. Boruto then says, having a large number of clones is not necessarily a good thing, rather it's worse for the environment. And we see the scene of Mitsuki attacking Boruto with these large snakes, destroying the forest, and Boruto jumping around the forest. But to be clear here, Boruto isn't really sweating, he's still in base, he's not really concerned, he's just easily dodging Mitsuki's attacks. And we also see that Boruto destroyed Mitsuki's snake clones. Now to be clear here, these clones are not on the same level as the original Mitsuki as were the Naruto clones, so I just want to make that clear, but Boruto was able to easily destroy them. Now I want to show you guys all of these panels because I have them, but of course you guys understand copyright strikes, so I have to like be really careful here. So I might show some of them but not all of them. Now Mitsuki did try attacking Boruto using Snake Lightning from a distance, but Boruto parried or deflected the attack using his own version of Lightning Release. So nothing much came of the attack itself, and Boruto just teleported behind Mitsuki or just speed blitz him. I don't know which one it was, but he teleported behind him and placed his sword towards his neck, and that's where the fight ended. So in essence, Mitsuki over the 3-year time skip said that he trained for this moment, he was preparing for this fight, and all he came to this fight with is giant snakes and lightning. all of the things he had before the time skip, you know? So, you know, I'm a bit disappointed, okay? I'm a bit disappointed. As you guys know, I did make a video talking about the potential of Mitsuki's Sage mode and all that stuff, you know, barring Sage mode. And even if Mitsuki wasn't as strong as Boruto, which we all knew wasn't going to be the case, I would have loved to see some new abilities, you know, but that hasn't happened. So I guess they're saving it for the Shinjus. Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, Boruto didn't kill Mitsuki, of course, but Mitsuki's like, yo, just do it. And Boruto says, with a single thought, you came to kill me with the determination to die. Rather than saying you're coming to kill me, it's more like you're in despair, just reckless. Mitsuki then says, what did you say? Boruto replied saying, you're just being reckless. Now what happened next is that it seems like Shikamaru tried to get Ino to connect him to Mitsuki as well, because they can only hear what Boruto is saying. So it's kind of like they're hearing Boruto say stuff and explaining stuff, but it doesn't make sense because they have no idea what he's responding to. But for some reason it seems like Ino isn't able to do this without them realizing that it's happening, or at least Mitsuki realizing that it's happening, or at least maybe someone monitoring their brain waves realize that it's happening, so she says she can't do it. So there seems to be some limitations here on the ability itself. Now Boruto then goes on to say, I am your son. There's no replacement. Mitsuki then says, why did you become my son? Why does this conversation turn into you being my son? Boruto then replied to Mitsuki saying, what about this snake? Why not end it once and for all? And Mitsuki says, why don't you escape? There are plenty of ways to do it. So it seems like Mitsuki has this snake around Boruto, but Mitsuki isn't attacking him, so he's kinda wavering here, and Boruto also isn't escaping, so they're kinda questioning each other. So of course, you know, Boruto kinda revealed what's happening. He said, the 7th Hokage is alive, he's safe, and Ino is surprised, Mitsuki is surprised. Shikamaru really isn't surprised because it feels like, or it seems like he already felt like this was the case, which is why he didn't take the Hokage position. And Boruto then says mother also. So they finally remember that Hinata is a part of the cast, it seems. Now we're gonna switch over to page 34 because I don't want to like reveal every part of the conversation. Again, this isn't properly translated for the most part. So we see Ada saying, yo, Kawaki, what's up? And you see that Kawaki just woke up from being knocked out by Mitsuki, which we now know Mitsuki's not that great at fighting anyways, so that's something. And Kawaki says, where's that bastard Mitsuki? But that's when we switch over back to the conversation with Shikamaru and Boruto, and Shikamaru says, in other words, is this what happened? Our memories were altered by Ada's divine technique called Omnipotence, according to Kawaki's wishes. Then Boruto says, that's right, I'll give you a brief explanation, but the details of the ability called Omnipotence doesn't matter. Anyway, you forget about it eventually. So this is really good because there was some complaints from the prior chapters where everyone is saying, yo, they're just explaining the same things over and over again. And it seems like they took that into account here. They're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna explain it to you, but I'm gonna do it off screen, you know? So that was pretty cool. It saves space, you know? But Boruto then explained that actually it's not the first time you've heard about this explanation of the ability. Sarada and class rep, referring to Sumire, have already talked about this many times. He then explained that it doesn't stick to your memory. It never completely settles and will be completely forgotten over time. That's the nature of the ability. Now this part is kind of weird because it seems like the person who wrote this is kind of implying that Boruto said this, but it seems like Shikamaru is the one who said it. So it says, you and Kawaki have no choice but to have people believe without relying on logic, the fact that you are opposite. And Boruto then says, you managed to reach that conclusion on your own. It's not something ordinary, it's a tough situation. Now Shikamaru then asked him if there's anything they can do to fix this, but Boruto says we can't go back to the way it was. The altered memories are everything to you guys now. They're now the real ones. So it's basically saying the altered memories are the real memories at this point, so anything they say is not going to be remembered. Now this part is very interesting because it seems like Boruto is still defending Kawaki or protecting him somehow. So he then explained that Kawaki sealed his dad, the 7th Hokage, to protect him. For him to be convinced, he has to unseal Naruto himself, otherwise it's meaningless. Now it can be interpreted here that Kawaki going against his wish will somehow revert Omnipotence itself, but I think the point Boruto is making here is that if he does reverse Omnipotence, he's still gonna have the problem with Kawaki, so it doesn't really make sense until they fix the problem with Kawaki himself. So I think that's more so what he's saying here. So that's pretty much why he says that it would only lead to repeating the same thing again, so Kawaki doing the same thing he did before. Now Shikamaru then says, after saving Naruto, kill Kawaki if I were in your shoes, that's how I do it. Boruto then replied saying that he wants to kill me, but I'm different. I just want to punch him and make up, that's all. Now then switch over to Jura on page 40, and Jura says, it's a mysterious thing in this world. The more our knowledge increases, the more new questions arise. As we come to understand more, our awareness of our own ignorance grows. That is what makes it interesting, the increase in the things we don't know. Juro then says, by the way, I had a vague feeling about it, but none of the books here seem to have the answers to my question. Should I go meet Naruto Uzumaki? Then the subtext says, the situation takes an unexpected turn. Seeking answers from the sealed target, the divine tree Jura begins to move. So it seems that Jura and the other Shinjus are going to the village to, attack it. So this might lead to what we saw in the post time skip timeline stuff, but that might be ways ahead into the future. We'll just have to wait and see. But what I can imagine here is Jura like saying this in this monotone tone, like the world or knowledge increases. Blah 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 blah. I just can't wait until they reveal his like voice actor in the anime. That would be pretty cool. Hopefully he has like the pain kind of tone of voice, where he's talking about the cycle of hatred. That was pretty cool, so that would be pretty good in my opinion. But that's it for the spoiler, guys. If you guys liked it, drop a like, I guess. Comment your opinions on what happened there with Mitsuki and Boruto and all that jazz. Just let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and subscribe if you're new. And also the Discord link is in the description, so you guys can join up if you want to. With that said, have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.